Good morning, HikeTalkers. Hey, Big D.
And I'm Matt.
Hey, we're out here on the trail because where else would we be, right? Having another beautiful hike in the morning after our workout. Ah, man, we had an amazing one yesterday. Went up to an amazing, beautiful, one of the most beautiful hikes on the planet. Tommy Peak Lookout. You start at Lake Mowich, which is spectacular, and you hike up past Mowich. You go up to Eunice Lake, and it's unbelievable. And you look up on the sheer rock face. On the very tippy top is this little tiny fire. It's a little structure, a little building, a little fire lookout. And when you get up there, you turn around and you see Mount Rainier, and it is something else. It is something else. And you will see some footage of that here coming up soon. But we're out here talking about some really cool and exciting things. You've been reading the book. What's the book?
Yeah, it's Shaquem and Shaquille Griffin's new book, players on the Seattle Seahawks, called Inseparable. So I started that. It's a pretty cool book so far, hearing their story. For those of you that may not know, Shaquem was born with a condition where his left hand didn't develop fully and just caused a lot of pain. He ended up having it amputated when he was about 4 years old, and is now playing in the NFL for the Seahawks with his twin brother Shaquille. So it's a pretty cool story so far. We were kind of just talking about that storyline. So
Yeah, I mean, kind of how it got started, I guess, was you were asking me about this idea that I think we all face at some point in life. And so, what was that idea? What were we talking about? What was the question?
Well, we were kind of talking about this idea of basically judgment, and why people always say, like, oh, don't worry about what they think, or who cares what they think. And it's so much easier said than done. And it's like, why is it that we put this this block in our mind that we care so much about what other people think? And it's something that I've been trying to think about a lot lately, in all sorts of different things, honestly. But particularly, like, my dad and I have been lifting together, and I'm just not really anywhere near where I was just a few short months ago. And so that can mentally destroy you. And so something that I've just consciously been trying to focus on is, like, who cares? Like, that's where I'm at right now. It is what it is. Like, there's nothing I can really do about it at this very second besides keep fighting through it. And so I've just been trying to apply that to different aspects of my life, and it is hard. It's not an easy thing to do, being someone who grew up an athlete and is constantly comparing to other people, and body image and all of these kind of things. Yeah, that was kind of a lot.
Yeah, that was
a
good.
Little tangent.
That was really good. I got to jump in here because this is not. Oh, you guys have no idea. That's a very vulnerable. I'm off camera over here because I'm all choked up. That was because y'all don't know her yet. That was a very, very big deal for her to even. Whew, catch myself here. That was a very, very big moment for her to express that, like, openly. And she's always been just you could just see the fight, as they say, the fight in the dog. And she's always just been a fighter, but she's always done it internally until it comes out. And man, you don't want any part of that. I can do it until it comes out. Until it comes out, and the beast, right? And early on. And oh man, we could get into so many different stories, but Right now, we don't want to get it too long here, but the bottom line is that we were talking about this concept of judgment, and we all go through it, imposter syndrome, right? Based on whatever it is that we're doing in our lives at that time. Do we feel worthy? Do I have the ability to really make an impact in other people's lives? When I can't even fix my own, right? And we all go through various levels of this, and I've certainly gone through this to the nth degree in my life, primarily because I have developed tremendous success in various areas, and then I would sabotage it. And be like, why do you want to work so hard to develop success, whatever that looks like to different people? But in my world, I developed success for myself and my family, and then you subconsciously or unconsciously destroy it. And we walk through these constant phases of judgment in our minds. And of course, decades ago, I started studying neuroscience because I really wanted to understand how this whole thing functioned. And so as she was asking me about this idea about judgment, I've built a whole series of physical, but then ultimately into mental tools for myself. And now, just recently, we're essentially packaging it up, if you will, and starting taking things more public, because I've done this from a consulting basis for more than a decade now, just working with individuals that go into companies and have huge success. And one of the mental tools that I wrote out years ago, and I was just shared this one with her when she first started coming on board, is in fact, I had her write it on the board. What was it? How'd I have you write that on the whiteboard?
Judgment does not lead to movement.
Exactly. In fact, it was judgment does not equal, the does not equal sign does not equal movement. Judgment does not equal movement. When you have judgment internally, mentally, emotionally, or externally, you're judging other people, it does not allow you to move. Period. It actually stops you. It stops you in your tracks. So when you're in the internal mental phase of judgment, you're not growing, you're not moving. Thank you for that. There's a hole I've stepped in so many times back there. So you got to keep in mind that, hey, if you're in this state of judgment, internally or externally, that you're not moving. And without movement, you can't have growth. You can't have momentum, right? Upgrades, right? You're not you don't have the ability then to put yourself into this state of momentum. And momentum is where you want to be. That's where everything happens. And so, how do you get yourself out of judgment, right? Because we all struggle with it. And I'm not going to get into the deep neuro. That's for another date, another time. But bottom line is again, depending on whose stats you listen to and so forth, but I've studied Ray Kurzweil and all the other amazing neuro people out there. And bottom line is essentially we all as humans, our brain, we have about 300 million neuroreceptors. And again, not going to get into all the details of that, but bottom line is if you think about all those neuroreceptors as a bucket, right? And it's got a piece of information tied to an emotion with a set of rules, okay, in this bucket. And your brain basically has 300 million of them, little buckets of data and emotion and a set of rules. And this is the thing that we all need to understand very simply, if you want to call it simply, is that what happens is we have these, we're going to have to turn because that was too nasty over there. Basically what happens is all of us, all humans around our mid to late teens, essentially these 300 million neuroreceptors, or these buckets, 300 million buckets, they're full. You have, and you have an emotion, you have an experience, and then the set of rules around that emotion and experience, basically what they mean. And if you can think about this in your mind, which I don't know what else you think about it, if you can think about this and focus in your mind on this idea and understand that emotion, that experience, and that set of rules was created by somebody else. It was created by your community. That community consists of your parents, right? Your siblings, your friends, your coaches, preachers, teachers, everybody that was around you in your environment, that community produced your belief structure. Like it or not, it's just the truth. Pay attention. This is something that's super critical for you to understand. If you want to overcome this concept of where you're living in judgment and you want to start living in movement into momentum, then you need to really understand this idea. Those buckets need an upgrade, they need an update, if you will. And you do that by, in many cases, flushing out that piece of information, that emotion, experience, and that set of rules, and just giving those rules an update, an upgrade. Right? How do we do that? Well, first of all, we got to be willing to address whatever that thing is. And this is why I'm super proud of my daughter, even accepting this challenge and come along on this journey, because I know how tough it is to be vulnerable and put yourself out there. That's why we're doing this. I mean, this is crazy. I don't need to do this. I don't want to put myself out here, in front of the world and expose, all my pain and suffering and so forth. Why? Because I know I had to give that experience, that emotion, that set of rules, an update, an upgrade. Right? I had to give the experience new meaning. And that's what I'm defining as the set of rules. You have to give the experience new meaning. You have to, no matter what the pain is. I can't, there's no justification why I lost my brother, why he died in a plane crash, okay, at 29 years old. There's no justification for it. He was one of the good ones. And it's for decades been a very painful experience. But I had to give that experience, that concept, that idea, new meaning. I had to take it and basically define what was good out of my experience with my brother, the things that he brought to my life. Not all the things that I can't have anymore, the things that we can't do anymore. There's no room in my brain for that idea, that concept. That's the set of rules I'm talking about. You're going to have to unearth and take a look at these things that are painful in your life so you can give them some meaning, that you can take them forward and actually help somebody else understand that thing, whatever that thing is for you. And so this idea of judgment is this. It's time for you to confront some of the things, some of the sets of rules that have gone on up here that have been pre-produced by somebody else. And until you're actually willing to do that, it's going to be very difficult to move. It's going to be very difficult in your life to actually develop new meaning. Develop that purpose that everybody talks about. What's my purpose in life? Right? So, this concept of judgment, can you imagine being Shaquem and being born with this situation, and that his parents, his dad, just said, that's not a disability, man. You're going to be just like your brother. And those guys teamed up and did something so outrageously amazing. They chose each other. They chose to make it happen. And they've had each other's backs all of these years now. And guess what? They both are in the big show playing for the Seattle Seahawks. Go Hawks. Oh, you got see that? Yeah. So we're so pumped. We're so excited for you. I hope this rings true for you. Hope you can recognize that we're out here being vulnerable. We're out here physically, emotionally moving forward, because we're not going to stay in judgment. We fall into judgment occasionally. It's just a matter of how long do you live there, because you need to get into movement and you need to develop momentum in your life. And when you're in the momentum phase, life is good. Things are happening. So that's it for today. I hope you get the message. Hope it rings clear. Let's start developing a new set of rules. Give this information, experiences some new meaning in our lives, and let's go get them out there. So I'm Big D.
And I'm Ash.
Thanks for sharing some time with us. We'll see you on the next one.